I finished the blade. It looks really like I imagined it would look at this stage. In the area where the hamon is, you can see that beautiful pattern, really bright and white. It's really, really strong, really, really beautiful detail in this blade. I think that's one of the really beautiful things about this blade. There's so much detail in every little area, so you can spend hours looking at it. Okay, it's all clean. I could clean all the oil and I can clearly see where we left off from the last where we were before. We're going to pick up from where we were on the last video. I discovered another scratch. For me, it was not good, so I needed to go back and take care of it. And I did that. Everything was taken care of. Now we can actually move on from where we were, where we left off. So now we're going to be moving on to Hadori process, which is really to make the hamon bright. I chose to do Hadori for this blade because the shape of the hamon I felt was suited this type of finish, Hadori finish. If you kind of remember back in not the last video, but the second last video where we did the drawing, and then I showed the line above the actual hamon, the sword maker, and then above that line I drew another kind of imaginary line, which is the line of Hadori. It's kind of creating a beautiful imaginary line above the hamon to make a beautiful flow and shape. So for this blade, I really thought that this hamon would really suit that type of finish. So that's what we're going to be doing. There's two types of finishing you can do generally in Japanese sword polishing. One is Hadori, one is called sashikomi. Sashikomi is where you accentuate through different techniques the actual hamon that the blacksmith made. Hadori is making it white, kind of like applying makeup to the hamon. You are showing the hamon that the sword maker put onto the blades through his work. Yeah, I would say really applying makeup. So you're applying makeup over the top part of about a millimeter or so above the hamon, creating a white boundary or white imaginary line that flows above the hamon, making it really white. I think that's the most kind of iconic image people have of a Japanese sword, is that really soft, undulating, kind of like soft waves or soft clouds in the sky that people think of when they think of a Japanese sword. That process to get that look is called Hadori. And for this blade, the type of hamon that's on this blade, I feel really will suit that type of polish. Honami family, that is really interesting. Well, before, I don't know which year this would have been, but before there was only really just what you would kind of call sashikomi polish. There was no Hadori. At the time, Honami family developed this technique, kind of like applying makeup to the sword. I guess to give it more value at that time. Swords at that time were thought of more as art because there was not so much fighting. So at that time, the Honami family, which was also appraisal, they could value the sword. And they're also a polishing lineage or school or family. But they developed Hadori. So it's a really interesting technique that you're really kind of making the sword more beautiful. Really actually like applying makeup. It's quite interesting. But that's what we're going to be doing with this blade. The shape of the hamon, kind of visualizing which way to go, where to start. Looking at the hada. Yeah, just trying to visualize where I'm going to start. When I'm doing Hadori, well, one thing, everything outside disappears. Everything is completely focused just on Hazuya and Hamon. That's it. All these elements, water, stone, the blade, everything has to come together perfectly in order to make Hazuya really smooth, really relaxing. Actually, because doing Hazuya in my mind is really everything is gone, and I'm just there with just doing it. I think when I first started, many years ago, I've always wanted to make kitchen knives beautiful like a sword. Being able to actually work on Tamahagane using the techniques and materials for sword polishing, that kind of traditional technique, traditional material, I feel that that's, for me, is like it's the top level of polishing for a kitchen knife. Of course, for a sword, that is what a sword requires. But for a kitchen knife, I feel, yeah, it doesn't need that to function as a kitchen knife. But for this type of kitchen knife, I feel, yeah, it does need that. It is important. It is doing justice to that blade. So whenever I can get a chance to just spend day after day or even a week, even a month only doing this, I'll always take that opportunity. Even if I can't sleep at night, wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes I feel like, oh, I gotta go and start polishing because I don't want to waste any time. I just want to get better and better so that I can really express that part of polishing. With a kitchen knife, it's very acceptable to finish it at just even 1,000 grit. It can function perfectly, no reason to take it further. But for me, I'm a polisher. That's what I do. That's my work on that side of it. So I want to take it to the highest level of my skill and ability to always, would also challenge and push myself in what I do. On the other side, I feel, especially Tamahagane Honyaki Tsujihiki, out of great respect for the material and the blacksmith and all the work that he put into this blade, that it deserves to be finished at this level, kind of at an art level, you could say. If you think about like Japanese sword, at a time it was a weapon, a tool. That's what it was used for. The way it was finished also was not at an art level in the way that it is today. At that time, it was used as a tool, as a weapon. In Japan, when fighting kind of died down, there wasn't so many wars. Japanese sword, from being a tool actually to an art piece. Kitchen knives, up until now, are really still considered tools. But with this work that I'm doing and the work that I've always done, I've always wanted to make the kitchen knife as art. I feel like similar like a sword, there's a lot of beauty in the material, in the work that the blacksmith into the kitchen knife. And I feel that it's as beautiful as a sword. So I want to take it to a level of art, even if it's going to be used and that what I did to it is going, you won't see it anymore. There are some blacksmiths, yes, that have talked to that they really actually put a lot of work into every aspect of their blade, whether it's a tool like a kana or plane or a kitchen knife. They want to take their work to a high, very, very high level. Taking the tool, elevating that idea of a tool to art. For example, one blacksmith I worked with and been to his workshop, he's a tool maker, but also a sword maker. When he's making his tools, he really wants the soft iron to be beautiful through polishing using natural stones. He wants the steel to be very beautiful as well. So he chooses okay, I'm going to finish this blade on this natural stone to bring out all the beauty in the steel. There's not a lot of blacksmiths that I've spoken to that have this kind of feeling, but there are some express this really deep feeling. What they're working on is more than just a tool. Good morning. I was up late last night working on Hadori because it's kind of my deadline. I need to finish it today. I want to finish it today, but I had to get some sections done and some details done in order to be able to finish today. So today's mission is to finish Hadori. So far is good. Just have to clean up dust a bit and then start back again. This is kind of a daily thing I do. Dump the water, clean the water. I have to prepare a couple hazuya for today just to finish some details and then finish it off. Probably later. I'll be finished later today. I think Hadori for everyone is different. Everybody has their own style. For swordsmith, yeah, depending, I'm not really sure, but it can take about a week, I think, to do a full sword, the final stage of Hadori. It takes time, just because you're working in this tiny little space and your movement is so small and the focus is so direct. You can't just sit there and do it forever. Do it, work on it a bit, look, check where you are, and come back. So it's this back and forth, back and forth. For me anyways, it's like that. I finished the blade. It looks really like I imagined it would look at this stage. Always when you're polishing as a polisher with these kind of things, you never really know when to stop. So you got to decide, okay, that's it. That's the end. So with this blade, it's really good to finish it. It took time, and plus there's a lot going on in between this blade, which also extended how long it took. But it's finished. It's a unique blade. The hamon is really, I'd say, wild in places. It has so much detail, so much happening in each little area, which took a lot of time to kind of how to approach each section doing Hadori. Yeah, in the end, it looks great. The detail I could bring out the way I wanted to, and the way I imagined it to look before I started Hadori is pretty much there. So I'm really happy with that. It's great. So this blade is really actually has a lot going on in it. The folding of the blade, hada, is a really beautiful mokume or matsukawa hada. And that kind of, in the area where the hamon is, you can see that beautiful pattern, really bright and white in the area from the tip to about the middle of the blade. It's really, really strong, really, really beautiful detail in this blade. And it's on both sides. I think that's one of the really beautiful things about this blade. Yeah, all of Yamano's blades are really unique like that. There's so much detail in every little area, so you can spend hours looking at it. He's got this really interesting technique, so you can really see that in this blade. Well, the hamon area from doing Hadori kind of accentuates or brings out the pattern in that Yamano put into the blade when he was folding. So within the hamon, yeah, it's very, very strong. Just underneath each, I guess you could call it a burl of the mokume, you see these beautiful long stretched out lines. It's really, really cool. Really came out strong with the Hadori. Yeah, it's really nice. Also, one fun thing about Yamano's blades is they're really challenging because they have so many different details. Should I bring this stronger? Should I make it more subtle? So you really have to find that balance. That's the challenge. Yeah, each blacksmith has their own style and their own characteristics in their blade. Whenever you go to sharpen another blade by a different blacksmith, you always kind of have to find that balance between the hamon, the details in the steel and the iron. Yeah, as a polisher, that's kind of what your job tends to be. You're bringing out the beauty in each blade. Yamano's blade is so different from other blades, like Kato, for example. Another sword maker, also knife maker, but his Tamahagane is very, very different from Yamano, so you have to approach it very differently. Mind is different. How you prepare your mind and how you're going to plot out each stage of polishing is really different. So that's really a unique aspect, I feel, of polishing. I feel like I can't wait to start the next blade. That's how I feel. When we started this Tsujihiki, Tamahagane Tsujihiki, it was really like something I had been working up to for a long, long time. Being able to polish it, get it to the state it is in now, and to finish it was really like, it goes back many, many years. Something I've been thinking about for a long, long time. Yeah, it's a great feeling to actually be able to finish this blade and actually now look forward to the other blades. So I'm already imagining what those other blades, the finishes of those blades. So finishing this is a pretty big deal, actually. Yeah. So the next blades will actually be done in our new workshop, which is going to be really exciting. So we just got a new workshop. We've been spending a lot of time back and forth. The next Tamahagane blades will actually be done in that workshop. So that's going to be really, really different, really exciting. So yeah, a lot of fun things to look forward to. Yeah, we have a lot of work to set up the workshop, a lot of cleaning, a lot of organizing, so a lot of work to do. So for this blade, the Tamahagane Tsujihiki, so it's done, the polishing is done, Shirasaya is done. So the next stage of this project actually will be the box and the packaging that we're working on. I'm going to take a little bit more time to get that all worked out, but once that's finished, this project will be truly finished. Complete. Thank you so much for following along on this journey of the Tamahagane's polishing process. Thank you so much for your support and all the kind words and everyone's comments. It's really a lot of motivation for me, for us to keep on moving forward. And now we're moving forward into a new kind of chapter in our life, I guess. Next big stage for us is making a sharpening polishing workshop in Kyoto. So that's going to be a big deal for us moving forward. Yeah, stick around for that and we'll see you next time.